Hey everybody. So someone in my family got a GrandCare, and I am now participating as a remote caregiver, a remote family caregiver. But maybe I have some other people who would like to participate too. How do I get them in on it? Well, this is how you do that. Now, it all depends on you having the correct role for this GrandCare in question, and that is to say, you have to have the administrative role for this GrandCare, not just the caregiver's role. And you can tell if you've got it or not if you have this users link in your left-hand navigation. If you do have it, then you have the administrative role. If you don't have it, you're going to need to talk to someone who does. And if you don't know who does, then maybe you should reach out to GrandCare or whomever has provided that GrandCare for your family. But if you do, what you do is you go and you click on users and you add user, button at the top, add user. Now you have to know this other person's email address and their name, but you could skip a lot of the other information. Now in this case, I'm going to say, make an alias for my email address here. And so when I'm adding my Uncle Jim, I put in his email address and his name. If I had a picture of him, I could do that too, but I think I'll leave that up to him. And all the information that you have, you should definitely include. You're going to want to include as much information as you have. In this case, the address and the state and the postal code and all that sort of stuff. Now, if you know the cell phone number, you're definitely going to want to include that because then GrandCare will have the ability to text you in certain circumstances. For example, if the touchscreen user tries to make a video call to you and you don't answer, you'll get a text message to say that you've missed a call. And that only happens if you put your number here and you check that box. And that's all that we really need to do here, except that we need to make really sure that we choose the right role for Uncle Jim and the right GrandCare account for him to have it on. Now, for most of us, this is not a big deal because we only have access to a single GrandCare account, and so there's not much choice to be made down here. But we do want to make sure that they get the correct role up here, and there are several roles to choose from. In this case, because I'm an account level user, I have these two to choose from. It's an account caregiver or an account communicator. What's the difference? If you want to know what the difference is, you can just select that role and click this blue bar, and you'll get a little bit of an explanation for what that role can do. And if you'd like to see what the communicator role can do, you can take a look at that. Basically, the idea here is an account communicator is someone who can make video calls to the touchscreen, send a letter to the touchscreen, upload photos to the touchscreen, but not a whole lot else. Now, an account caregiver is someone who could also potentially look at their activity data or look at their health data. They could make rules about those health readings if they want to, and they can be the target of those alerts if those rules are executed. So, we select the correct role and the correct account, and that should do it for us. I could put in a little note here if I wanted to include with the activation email, but you don't have to. Now the idea here is that when I filled this form out and I click the Save User button, what's going to happen is this person is going to get an email and it's going to have a button in the email that says click here to activate your account, where they choose a password for themselves and get started as a GrandCare user. So I'm going to click the Save User button, the email goes out, and it can take a minute to get there. So if you're on the phone with Uncle Jim, tell him to just wait a minute and it'll probably be there in just a second. And then you get your email. It looks just like this. Welcome to the My GrandCare network. Click this button to activate your account, right? So unfortunately, I'd have to log out of my other account for that to work. Go back to my email and click my activation button. Now here I am, I'm Uncle Jim, and I have to choose a password for myself. And once I've done that, I can activate my user account. And here I've got my end user license agreement. You did this the first time that you logged in too. You maybe have forgotten, but there's this license agreement that you should read. And when you've done that, you can click I accept it. And there's another notice that we'd like for GrandCare users to know about changes in health devices. Once I've read that, I can just take a look at my new GrandCare status. And here I am as an account communicator. I can make a video call to the touchscreen. I could maybe go to the Communicate tab and type out a little message if I'd like to do that. There's a lot of possibilities, and for those, see the other videos on our /family page. Thanks for watching.